I'll admit it, after so many seasons spent searching for signs of a new identity, watching young players turn unexpected openings into hope hits me. This isn't empty excitement. It feels like Foxborough might finally be creating answers from within its own roster again. Today, 4 moves tell that story from completely different angles: an absence revealing talent, a competition that could protect Drake May, a response to roster rumors, and a quiet goodbye. Hit like and subscribe because every detail helps us understand the Patriots team taking shape right in front of us. It starts in a room that looked settled only a few weeks ago. Hunter Henry was coming off 60 catches, 768 yards, and 7 touchdowns, with that last number leading the team. Julian Hill had arrived on a 3-year, $15 million deal to take on the heavier work as a blocker. Then Hill landed on injured reserve and was lost for the season. CJ Dupree opened training camp on the physically unable to perform list. In an instant, all that depth became a painful question. Eli Raridun heard the question and started answering it on the field. Drafted near the end of Day 2 in 2026, the 22-year-old rookie is already rotating between the first and second team offenses. Across the up-tempo practices from Tuesday through Thursday, he caught 5 passes during team drills. For a tight end trying to find his place in Josh McDaniels' offense, those are not ceremonial reps. Working with the starters shows that the coaching staff wants to see how far his preparation can carry him once the responsibility rises. Raridun has been open about how much patience the adjustment demanded. In college, the communication came through signals. Now he has a much larger vocabulary to process. He is still learning, but he said the game has started to slow down and described the difference from the spring as night and day. That fires me up because mental comfort unlocks physical talent. A big, athletic target loses his advantage when he has to think too long before attacking space. Once he knows the call and plays fast, he can give his quarterback the kind of reliable outlet that keeps a drive alive. Mike Vrabel did not hand him a crown either. He said Eli is learning, figuring out the game, and can find a way to help the team. That is the right message. Hill's injury opened the door, but it did not award Raridun the role. He still has to carry this progress into contact, blocking assignments, reads, and consistent execution. Even so, with A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs commanding attention from defenses, there is a fascinating opportunity for him to work inside as a safety blanket for Drake May. Something born from a real loss could give McDaniels a piece nobody expected to use this soon. For anyone who watched this offense scramble for emergency answers, that possibility means something. Raridun does not need to dominate overnight. If he makes the unit less predictable, blocks with purpose, and earns May's trust, losing Hill will still hurt without freezing New England's entire offensive plan. Raridun is a possible solution emerging because the original plan took a hit. Caleb Lomu represents something this franchise spent far too long without: real choice along the offensive line. For years, the conversation centered on hiding weaknesses and hoping 5 linemen could simply stay upright. Now, after taking Will Campbell 4th overall in 2025 and trading up to number 28 for Lomu in 2026, New England is finally building competition around the most valuable player in the organization, Drake May. Lomu arrived with far less noise than his former Utah teammate Spencer Fano, who went 9th overall. April noise does not block anybody in September. The rookie allowed 0 sacks across 357 pass-blocking snaps in his final college season after surrendering only 2 the year before. With the Patriots, he has already worked at right tackle, guard, and even jumbo tight end. That versatility cannot become an excuse to leave him without a home. It gives Vrabel room to identify exactly where Lomu's talent can help the fastest. The veteran's response makes this rise even more encouraging. Elijah Veritucker praised the rookie's attitude, his ability to move on from a bad play, and his willingness to listen. Morgan Moses talked about working alongside Lomu both on the field and in the film room. Sit with that for a moment. Moses is 35 years old. He sees a young player gaining opportunities while his own workload is being managed, and he still chooses to teach him. That is a healthy locker room. Competition does not have to become resentment when everyone understands that protecting the quarterback matters more than individual comfort. Will Campbell remains first in the pecking order at left tackle, even after a rookie season that mixed promising moments with legitimate concerns. Lomu begins on the right side, where the future may arrive sooner. Moses still has value, and another year on his 3-year, $24 million contract. If another team starts looking for help in the trenches, he could draw interest. But handing 2 inexperienced tackles to a team trying to return to Super Bowl contention would be an enormous gamble. Urgency cannot come at the expense of May's protection. That is why I like the way this situation is developing. Nobody has to push Moses out today or move Campbell because of panic. Camp can settle it through evidence. Vera Tucker still gives the team another tackle option if needed, and Lomu already appears ahead of schedule. For the first time in a long time, one injury or a dip in performance does not have to trigger automatic panic. This line has combinations, it has experience, it has a rookie who keeps demanding more room through his work. Training camp can also be cruel. While one rookie grows surrounded by praise, a second-year player is hearing that there might not be a place for him at all. Kyle Williams entered the summer viewed as an ascending weapon after flashing his speed and scoring 3 touchdowns as a rookie. The additions of I.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs raised the level of competition. Williams did not make the expected impact during the first few practices, and rumors began to suggest he could be among the cuts before week 1. That stings because Williams is only 23 and has not received a long, clean stretch to show the full range of his game. The NFL does not wait for an opportunity to become perfect. Other receivers showed up, and every practice without an answer made the story heavier. Then Thursday arrived. Williams caught 2 touchdowns from Drake May, and for a few meaningful hours forced everybody to look again. That is how a young player protects his own story. He does not argue with the noise. He changes what people will be talking about tomorrow. Kayshon Boutte, who has dealt with chatter about his own future, advised Williams on handling scrutiny and bringing the right mindset into practice. His response on the field suggests that message landed. The harder part begins now. One strong afternoon interrupts the slide. A string of strong afternoons rebuilds trust. Speed remains the trait that separates him. One of his 3 touchdown catches as a rookie covered 72 yards. In a room where Brown brings physical force, Doubs adds experience, and several other players are fighting for specific jobs, Williams can supply the element that stretches coverage and punishes a safety who takes one false step. That ability matters for May. A credible threat downfield also opens intermediate routes and takes away a defense's freedom to squeeze the entire field. I do not want the Patriots cutting young talent just because the beginning of camp felt uncomfortable. I also do not want them protecting a third-round investment simply to defend the pick. The fair path sits between those reactions. Give him enough reps to compete, then demand that every rep count. Williams has to sharpen his connection with May, run consistent routes, and prove he can help when the ball is not coming his way. If he does that, he will not merely secure a job. He will return a weapon to this offense who has already shown he can turn one throw into 6 points. There is a human side here. Boutte heard rumors about himself and reached out to a teammate facing similar pressure. Williams took the advice and answered with touchdowns. We do not know where the receiver hierarchy will land. Every practice will decide whether Thursday was survival or the beginning of the turnaround Patriots fans wanted. The final update does not arrive with touchdowns, praise from veteran linemen, or a glamorous position battle. It lands without ceremony. According to Mike Reese, the Patriots are releasing linebacker Otis Reese. The move looks small on the surface, and that is precisely why it reveals so much about this stage of roster building. Once competition tightens, some stories end before fans ever have time to form a connection with the player. Reese is 28, and he knows the unstable side of this league. He came out of Ole Miss undrafted in 2023 and signed with the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee waived him during final roster cuts as a rookie, brought him back to the practice squad, and promoted him in December of that season. He stayed on the active roster until the final cuts in 2025. Then he joined the Buffalo Bills practice squad, was released in October, and found another opportunity on New England's practice squad. The Patriots brought him back again on a futures deal after the season. There was legitimate NFL experience there. In 2024, Reese appeared in 13 games for the Titans and recorded 17 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception, and 2 pass breakups. Those numbers do not guarantee a roster spot, but this was not somebody unfamiliar with an NFL Sunday. He carried special teams experience and the urgency of a player who had already fought his way back more than once. I cannot treat his release like a disposable transaction. For Reese, this is another hit in a career built along the margins. For the Patriots, it signals that Vrabel and his staff have started deciding which profiles deserve the next wave of reps. The report included no corresponding signing or sweeping change at linebacker. One spot opened, leaving everyone else with more room and more pressure. The contrast with the first 3 updates is impossible to miss. An injury created opportunity for Raridan. Lomu is climbing while a veteran's workload is managed. Williams answered cut rumors with 2 touchdowns. Reese ended up on the other side of the door. That is training camp. Every surprise that lets fans dream is paired with somebody receiving a life-changing call. Defending the Patriots never requires losing sight of that human cost. A roster trying to climb back toward the top of the AFC cannot delay decisions out of sentiment either. The staff has to identify who brings strength, speed, discipline, coverage ability, and value on special teams. If Reese was no longer moving forward in that equation, opening the spot now gives New England time to evaluate another answer before the preseason games. We will understand the move more fully once we see who inherits his snaps or whether somebody else is brought into the building. If you feel this momentum building in Foxborough, leave one word in the comments to define this camp. Mine is transformation. Not because every change will feel good or every young player will become a star, but because roles are shifting right in front of us. One rookie can jump into the offense, another can reshape the future of the protection. A receiver can rescue his roster spot, and a veteran can lose his. The emotion runs deep because every practice feels capable of changing something real. Taken together, these 4 updates are less about individual names and more about opportunity. Raritan is trying to turn an absence into trust. Lomu offers depth where Drake May needs security most. Williams refused to disappear when the rumors got loud. Reese reminds us of the human cost behind every decision. I feel hope, but it is demanding hope. The Patriots have to turn competition into a stronger roster, not just a collection of good July stories. If you feel that energy too, subscribe and show your support. Foxborough does not want pretty promises. It wants this transformation to survive when the games begin.